Hey guys, it's your girl ButAcake, and you're tuned in to Casa Verde Connections.
What's going on, guys? We're here at another episode. What's up, Jersey? This is your guy, Chris Autohd, producer of the Casa Verde Connections. And today is a special one. For the first time ever, we stepped out of the dispensary and taken the podcast on the road. We're here in Jersey City, and we're linking up with someone who's truly baked into the legacy of New Jersey cannabis. Matha Figaro, the powerhouse behind ButAcake, and a brand that started from scratch in 2015 and has grown into the pioneer in legal edibles. Now fully launched in both Delaware and New Jersey. That's right here in the Garden State. Now, and get this. She was just featured in a documentary called Kiss My Grass. Whoa. Kiss My Grass at the Tribeca Film Festival. You know we had to come through and get the story. I'm passing the mic to your host and the voice of Casa Verde Connections, Chris Almada. Let's go.
Yo. Thanks, Chris Autohd. What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Almada. Welcome to Casa Verde Connections. Today, we're in Jersey City. I'm sitting across one of the dopest women in cannabis, Matha Figaro, the founder and CEO of ButAcake. From baking in Jersey's kitchen to becoming New Jersey's first licensed cannabis edible brand, she's built a business that's all about flavor, power, and purpose. She's the real deal, and she's got the PB&J brownie to prove it. Let's get into it. What's up, Matha? How are you?
That was the best intro ever! I'm so hyped right now.
Yeah, it's like a little WWE intro.
Fire.
How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm healthy. It's
Good.
another day in paradise.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for inviting us over and having us here. It's a great, beautiful spot that you got.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Well, let's get right into it. I want to ask you a couple questions, get to know you a little bit, and then, how you transition and, finally making it to the industry. It's a hard industry to get into. So I want to dive in, ask you a couple questions and see who you really are and see the face of ButAcake.
Let's do it.
So where would you say, what was your first memory of baking or having a passion to bake?
Ooh. So when I was 8 years old, I got my first easy bake oven. And that one is like my first core memory of baking and just loving it and being super curious about how this stuff worked. And around that time, I was also curious about astronauts and NASA and stuff. We were learning about that in school. And I think it was just perfect timing that these things happened for me at that time in life, because they were teaching us about how when you're an astronaut, you have like these ready to eat meals and you just open up the bag and you just go for it and you don't have to do anything. And by the time I got the easy bake oven, it was kind of the same thing. And I just thought it was amazing. So those are my first real core memories of baking and being obsessed.
And what made you want to bake? Like, did you have a sweet tooth when you were younger, or did just,
I think baking called me.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you mix in, the baking and the cannabis? How did you end up, mixing it all together?
Yeah. So obviously I got my easy bake oven when I was 8, and then I graduated high school, and then I went to college, and I failed at college because I was too busy baking for the soccer team as opposed to like being in my books. And I failed out, and my parents were like, this is unacceptable. My parents are from Haiti. And so for us, it was like, you got to go to college. You need to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. Like, that's it. And unfortunately, I didn't really subscribe to any of those things. And my mom was like, at the very least, the compromise is you need to go get a piece of paper from somewhere. Like, show us that you can do something.
Yeah.
And so I graduated top of my class at Le Cordon Bleu, Pittsburgh, 2010. And then I worked only in fine dining, steakhouses and stuff of that nature. And when I was done with the restaurant world, I ended up working for Whole Foods, where I managed 3 of their stores, 2 in New Jersey and 1 in New York City, all focused on the bakery and like commercial big business of baking, really. And then after that, I just got tired of working for people. It just felt like I wasn't going to reach my full potential, and I was missing like fulfillment in a sense. And now that I'm where I am, I know that feeling was that I was missing my purpose.
Right.
Yeah. And so by the time 2015 rolled around, I missed baking, and I started baking as ButAcake, and I started doing farmers markets all over Jersey City. And through doing that, I met somebody that asked me to turn my cake into an edible. And at first I was like, nah, I'm not doing that because I didn't want to go to jail. I was actually scared. The stigma was real. So I was
Yeah.
like, ain't no way. And then over time, persistence was the key. And by 2016, ButAcake became an edibles company and it just blew up and grew from there.
Nice. Now, what was your relationship with cannabis, before legalization and all that?
No, well, I'm 36 years old, if that gives any context here. So my cannabis relationship started in high school when they were lying to me saying, oh, this is sour diesel. But now in hindsight, it was probably fucking oregano. Ooh, can I curse? Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
But now in hindsight, it's like probably oregano. So I would say my first like real consumption experiences started in my 20s, 20, 21, 22.
So you mentioned that you worked at Whole Foods and stuff in the bakery and stuff. I hear you also got roots in Morristown.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? What was that, growing up in Morristown and being in there? Like, what role did it play into, where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Morristown 973. Love you guys. Born and raised there, high school and all that good stuff. Morristown is really diverse. And so you get people from all walks of life there. And obviously where there is diversity, you tend to find cannabis in all shapes and sizes and forms. And so it was always around. But again, I was an athlete in high school, so I wasn't really focused on
Right.
the cannabis stuff. And then when I became a chef and I suffered some injuries, my cousin came over one day and he was like, yo, you are a zombie. These pills that the doctors are giving you, like, you got to get off, smoke this joint. And I was like, I don't know. But again, persistence being the key, he, educated me about it. And then I started smoking and then I got off the opioids and then I started doing lots of yoga. And so the combination of the cannabis and the yoga is what put me back on track to being an epic human.
Yeah, it sounds like a recipe to get yourself centered in line to, where you want to be spiritually, you know what I mean? I think spiritual connection is a big thing for us, and
Absolutely
any aspect of life, I think it's very, and I think, cannabis helps you get there. It like relaxes you, gets you in a Zen state,
Absolutely. And I think that's the energy that people feel and taste when they're eating my products. Like these goods are made with our hands and they're made by people that really, really, really care.
I must say, from experience,
Yeah.
yes, it gets you into that, Zen calm, and it gets you there, and it really does. I was actually shocked. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a bite, and then it was delicious. First of all, and it was great. The after effects, amazing. It got me to where I need to go. I suffered a lot of pain in my back and stuff. I was in a car accident, so I also was addicted to opioids at one point, and closet almost like half my bathroom closet was full of just medications for all different types. So being able to take an edible, being able be able to consume it other than smoke it, that it's also great, and then I also know that you use very clean ingredients for these brownies.
Yeah.
But so can you tell me a little bit what goes into these brownies?
I mean, besides love.
Well, love is a big factor. It definitely is.
That's definitely our number one
the secret ingredient.
Yeah, that's the secret ingredient.
That's right.
I always say, those Sunday meals, with your parents, your grandparents, it just tastes different. It's just made with love. So that ingredient is like top.
Thank you. Pharrell, we've had days where it's like, if 2 or more people wake up and they're like, yo, I'm in a bad mood or Mercury is retrograding, whatever the case may be, I don't care. We're not making product today.
Yeah.
Because the energy that comes through our hands, I truly believe is transferred into the product. And so it's like, look good, feel good. If you feel good, you bake good. And everything that is good comes out. So I know we joke that love is an ingredient, but I really, truly believe that it makes a difference. We don't use any like bleached flour. We don't use white sugar. We don't use like Domino or none of that nonsense. We try to source product ingredients from companies that are also employee owned so that every purchase we make actually impacts people's lives. So we are really trying to pay attention to the finer details. Yeah,
that's details to a whole nother level. Supporting other businesses, family owned businesses is big, especially in today's world. Everything's so corporate. That even, support is a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's That I actually didn't know that, and that's crazy. And I appreciate that. I really do, because everybody's trying to make it out here. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't want to work for the upper guy or anything. They just want to pave their own lane. And perfect example is you paved your own lane pretty much in a hard industry.
I can appreciate that. Like you ain't baking unless we all feel good and we're all our hearts are in it, because it's how it is, the grind, the job. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, gotta go to work. But it sounds like if you work for ButAcake, you're like, I'm going to work today. Like, let's get it. Let's make these brownies.
Okay. We make bricks of batter.
Let's get it.
That's funny. So what did those early days for ButAcake look like back in, I don't know, 2015-ish? But what did it look like?
A baby deer that was just born and can't walk yet. It was real wobbly. I wasn't educated, honestly. It took a lot. I had spent a lot of hours reading, going to the library. I was sitting in Barnes and Nobles to the point where they would have my tea on the table by 9:59 because they knew I was pulling up at 10 o'clock to come do my little research and stuff like that. I did a lot of internet research as well. I started calling people that worked in the medical profession, and I knew that medical cannabis was allowed here. So I just started teaching myself everything I possibly could about the plant before I really dove in and turned it into a product somebody could eat. Because even before I got into cannabis, I always just cared about what I was feeding people. That is why I'm a pastry chef. And it got to the point where, I smoked weed, so I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
About
it's the ButAcake.
Just how ButAcake looked back in the day.
Oh yeah, it was just wobbly. I had to educate myself a ton. And then it got to the point where I understood the math and the science behind it all. And once I got that part down, I started to search for the best possible ingredients. And where do you go? You go to the farm. Yeah. So I started looking for people that knew how to grow, because we didn't have dispensaries. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not, but frankly, even today that we do have dispensaries, I'm not going there to source my flower to make the edibles kind of thing if I were still to be in the underground market. And so finding out where the pheno hunters are and where the best growers are, especially in the underground, is really hard to do. Yeah. There's a level of trust that you have to build, which eventually turns into love. Like, these people are your family. Yeah. And so having found that in 2016 and 2017, I think also helped the ButAcake brand become what it is.
Yeah. Well, part of that is the culture, though. The culture is that black market, that's legacy. That's what it is. That's, those are the humble beginnings, That's nobody wanted to touch those, wanted to do anything, and it only takes, a brave person to really do those things, and for sure. and understand that it's not it shouldn't be a Schedule I drug. Yeah. At that.
I can attest that, you really did your homework. One of the, I think the first time we met you, it was over at the Cannapreneur conference at Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Well, that was years ago.
Yeah. So me and Chris, we started over Canaco, and that's our,
Wait, you were in the wheelchair back then.
He spoke there. We sponsored that event. It was one of our friends that was an alumni there, and we're like, at that time everyone was all geared up, I want to start a business. I want to get in the industry, and of course we were one of them, and so we're like, yeah, we'll sponsor that, and that's where I first met you. And I just remember you were in the back and you were the only person taking notes. And we're like, who? She's taking all the notes. I'm like, all right. And then from there, we followed your story, and it's awesome to see. It's awesome. Now we're able to buy the brownies in the store. That's what I'm saying. You really did your homework. You really went for it. And that's awesome, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially in New Jersey, with all the regulations and all the hoops you got to jump through. And so it's awesome seeing, our peers from there, and where we're all at now, because we're all growing. We're all trying to make our own way into the industry, because, at the end of the day, we're just hustlers, and this is what, this is what we love, and this is what we put our heart into it. So it's really awesome seeing you come this far.
Thank you.
Yeah. And breaking down the stigma, you know what I mean? This comes out to bringing it down. It's, one thing I always said about the cannabis industry in New Jersey is they treat us like potheads. Mm-hmm.
I am, though.
But yeah, rightfully so, But, I feel like the medicinal side is just here, just take some some weed and smoke it. It's like, no, like, give us brownies, give us our
Yeah,
soul,
we
give
need
us,
some
give us,
nuance.
like, not everybody just, is okay with smoking,
Hmm.
and so it's definitely a good outlet, you know what I mean? Especially being clean and,
Yeah.
no
Working
bleach
in
in the
the
flower.
underground before I went legal, I learned that everybody consumes.
Yeah.
Everybody. I had people with job descriptions that obviously I can't say in this fashion because trust is a really big deal at
Yeah.
ButAcake, but like I have people with job descriptions that you just would never, ever, ever think like, oh my God, you eat edibles? Oh my God, you smoke weed? Like how?
Yeah.
Suit and tie? You? So I really got the chance to learn that everybody is consuming in some way, shape, or form, and food just makes it so much easier. It's a vehicle that allows people to connect with the plant in a different
In a
way than they
different
would
way.
if they just
Yeah.
because when you're chewing and you're really going through it, and then edibles take time to hit your system. So if we're talking about the old school edibles, now you're going through like a 2-hour period of a relationship with
Yeah.
what's getting ready to happen and the anticipation. Like all of these things really truly allow us to bond with the plant in a different way. And I just think that it's honestly the best way.
So, doing your research and, putting a lot of hours into it, and probably days, I would assume. And
Years.
yeah. So, what did you find about the cannabis and sweets and stuff like that? Like, is there anything that really is like, oh, now this makes sense?
Oh my God, yeah. So the same way when we think about like savory food and herbs is the same way I think about weed and sweets. So if somebody's growing like a I don't know, a kush versus a diesel versus a sour, all of those plants give us different tastes and different smells. And now we're back into terps, right? It's the reason why when you do a key lime pie, you choose a key lime and not like a Mexican lime.
Yeah.
So all of those things, I learned that about weed, and it just made my mind blow. And it's incredible what you can do, especially when you're doing like single strain and you're really highlighting the plant.
Mm.
So far in the legal industry, I haven't been able to do that. We're using distillate, so it kind of takes away from what I'm used to doing
Right.
in the underground. But we will be coming back with some more of what we used to do in the underground.
That's cool. That's something definitely to look forward to. Speaking about growth and getting to where you are, and really refining your products and stuff. I hear your products are available in Delaware now.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
How was that? How was that? How was that? How was that? What to say? Like any more obstacles and hoops than than you already go through in the New Jersey legal. I imagine it's a lot of work. It's stressful, and it takes probably more than one person or probably a whole team. So how was that?
And like, how does like the market out there compare to the New Jersey market? What's different?
Yeah, are there things that you can maybe add to your brownie that you probably wouldn't be able to over here? And yeah, like
Yeah, I could give you guys the full rundown. So in 2021,
mhm.
my friend from the third grade, Jimmy, was like, yo, we need to go legal. ButAcake is everything, because he was a customer of it in the underground as well. Not because we were friends, but just because. And so when we decided to go legal, we created a manufacturing company called Cannpowerment so that we could create ButAcake products legally and serve the markets. New Jersey made it impossible at the time. And mind you, I'm one of the first people going after a license at that time in the adult use market. And so it was just literally nobody knew what they were doing, the CRC included. So we have to have a lot of grace for our officials in that time. And because it was so difficult, I started running out of all of my legacy money. Like I paid so much money to get the license, so much money to hold property, so much money for lawyers and all of these things. And ultimately it got to the point where I realized that I had maybe less than 2 months worth of money in my bank account to even pay rent. And something had to happen. And so I gathered my two best friends, who are also my co-founders in this business, Jimmy and Yaz. I said, listen, if we're gonna go legal, we need to figure this out like tomorrow. Otherwise, I don't care. I'm giving up on this and I'm going back to the trap, and we'll figure something else out. And they're like, no. And it was at that time that I got really lucky. It was also like MJ Unpacked time. And I met this gentleman named Spencer Bells, and he introduced me to another gentleman by the name of Bali. And at that time, he was working for Columbia Care. And I met Volley in a parking lot with a bag filled with all my ButAcake underground treats because we weren't legal yet. And I said, listen, this is what I've been doing. This is what I can do. And this is what I want to do. And I showed him all the stuff. I gave him all the treats. He called me back a couple of days later and he said, let's go. Let's figure out a way to get you to market. I believe in you and I believe in your product. And I think that this is something that, needs to come out from the underground. Everybody needs access. And I said, okay, great. And so we sat down and we took a meeting and it was like super corporate and I was like beyond nervous. And we landed on the path of least resistance being going into Delaware first. Delaware is a small state. It's a medical only state. At the time, there were only like 9 dispensaries there. And so it just really made it a great little petri dish and a good jump from my 300 square foot apartment in Jersey City to now the legal market. It was perfect. It was everything I could have ever imagined. I launched my first ever legal brownie there and it was $5. It still is $5 because I believe that people, especially people that look like me and people that don't make tons of money, should be able to get access to a pot brownie without spending $20, $30, $40, $50.
Yeah.
And so at the time, the people in leadership in Columbia Care really understood what I was trying to do and what I wanted to do, and they supported that. And now I get to serve tons and tons of medical patients in Delaware at an affordable price. It's my dream come true. Delaware did something for me that New Jersey could never. It's my first baby.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy. It's insane that usually I guess in the music industry too, a lot of artists say usually your home state whatever usually gives you a little jab in the back, but
It be your own people.
it really be
New Jersey.
Yeah, But I'm glad you were able to come back and stay in Jersey and stay here.
Yeah.
That's really big. You mentioned the Canna empowerment. What's your role and what does it mean to the industry? Why is it so powerful?
So it's literally cannabis empowerment. Bleep the cannabis part for the meta. But the whole point is for us to be able to empower brands to get on a legal shelf. And so I took myself, ButAcake, as the case model. And I said, how are we going to get me from the underground and onto a legal shelf? And how can we rinse and repeat this model so that anybody that's currently in the underground that wants to try their hand at some legal money could come through? And now that I've done it with myself and we've been able to reach 3 states, I'm ready to open up these doors and literally empower every single person that's ever been told no to, come up in here and start taking up the shelf space.
That's awesome. That's very powerful, especially the people that coming up.
Just saying it.
Yeah, no, I felt it because given the background that just before you had to go to Delaware and having other people go through those trials and tribulations and being able to have that like outreach is huge.
For sure. Yeah, and I wanted to do it in a way where like you didn't need tens of thousands of dollars to get into this. Like there are other brands out there in the New Jersey legal industry that are suffering because they're in massive debt because they go to these larger companies that lock them into these outrageous deals. And then they're like, oh, by the way, you got to pay for all your own packaging. Oh, by the way, you have to hire your own sales team. Oh, by the way, you essentially have to pay for everything and we'll give you maybe 3% back. Like, at what point is that even equitable? At what point can anybody pay their rent or grow a business or help other people? And so by seeing other brands have to deal with that kind of stuff, I decided to create a business that would allow for that to stop.
Yeah, you hear that a lot going on right now in the New Jersey industry. And it's kind of, it's sad because a lot of people put everything into it. And some other people would take advantage of it. So definitely that's huge and very powerful. And, I suggest anybody interested or has any questions, to reach out and, get in touch for sure. I want to get a little bit back into your brownies because one thing that comes up to mind, like, how do you come up with these flavors and the PB&J brownie and, like, it's so creative. Like,
I'm a consumer, right? So like I go into my little session, I get inspired by the plant, I consume the plant, and then I get into the kitchen and I just start throwing things around. Frankly, I love peanut butter and jelly. I think it's the greatest combo ever. And I was surprised that nobody thought to put it on a brownie, especially one that had weed in it. And so to be honest, I don't recall when I had the eureka moment, but I knew that when I did it and when I ate it, that it was done.
You instantly knew that.
Yeah.
Was it the first time you made it? You're like, this is it.
Yeah.
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 That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that you know, that speaks to your experiences too. You know, your research, your experience, everything coming in together.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a great brownie, by the way. If you haven't tried it, try it.
I've had a lot of brownies. I've traveled 30 states and 15 countries, and I've probably had a brownie every single place I've traveled to.
Really?
Yeah.
What's like the mecca of brownie? Speaking of it, is there like a mecca of brownie somewhere?
It's ButAcake, baby.
That's crazy. So what's the craziest flavor or you know,
thing
that you want, that you created and you're like, oh man, this is like, you know, maybe something that, you know, you're just kind of like, you know, it's not ready yet, but it has a lot of potential, and once I figure this out.
Okay. I mean, I could say the butter cake, which is the basis of the name, the ButAcake. You know, that's the thing everybody's waiting for. It's the most delicious thing. It's the best thing. It's all the things. And so I'm looking forward to bringing that to the New Jersey regulated market under Cannpowerment specifically, because that'll be our thing for the state. And then besides that, I would say some of our most creative products, we do like oral dissolvable strips, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to bringing back, we do sprays. So we did that in the underground. Yeah, that was super fun. And then just more classics, more elevated classics. Muddy Buddies, definitely bringing that back.
Muddy Buddies, yes.
Yeah. Pudding,
yes.
applesauce, all of that good stuff.
Oh, man. You mentioned a little bit about something about savory. What does savory, celebrate, and elevate mean to you?
Ooh. Well, you know, considering the time of year right now, that phrase is screaming cookout. It's screaming barbecue. It's screaming connect with the friends and the family and the homies and the community. It's screaming, you know, water coming out the fire hydrant. That's what I feel when you say that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, summertime's coming out. I think I've fired up my grill every single weekend since summer started.
I love that.
Even if it was raining, I would just, you know, use my gas grill and just tuck it underneath the, you know, little patio, and definitely.
I just got a flat top grill. Oh man, I've been cooking on that thing. It's awesome. Yeah, I got a Weber. I've been fucking chefing it up. I've been sweating out there, chefing it up. How hot it is out here, 90 degrees. I'm making my steak.
You got it.
I made a shrimp for the first time the other day on it.
Yeah.
And it was like my first time ever cooking shrimp, like you know, heading it and all that crazy stuff. So it was real interesting. It was so good. So yeah, I've been having a good time with the cookouts.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I enjoy it a lot more. An important question that I have is, you know, why is you know, transparency of the, you know, product that you get, you know, lab tested, and why is it such, you know, a core part of your brand?
The reason why it's such a core part of my brand is because when I was going legal, that's what everybody claimed and clamored about. They're like, oh, you make edibles in the underground. It's not tested. I don't trust you. Oh, you make edibles in the underground. I don't know where you got your flower from. I don't trust you. So like all of those things that people try to like make seem so terrible about non-regulated operators and operations, I kind of was like, you know what? Since that's what y'all care about in the legal market, fine, you can have it all. I have nothing to hide. Because honestly, I hope that my transparency will show the legal market that we actually have so much more work to do.
Yeah.
Frankly.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Because I don't grow and I don't extract. So at the end of the day, yes, my brownie is a 10 out of 10 because I hand make and I handcraft the product itself. But the stuff that's going into it, I can't be held 100% responsible for because I'm not the grower and I'm not the extractor. And until we have growers in the New Jersey industry that are as anal and as OCD as I am, y'all not gonna have these like single strain brownies, these 50 milligram brownies, and these incredible different variations of a brownie that you want because I don't have access to the good shit in the legal market like I do in the underground.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's, you know, to your point, if, you know, you're taking all these extra steps to make a clean, you know, edible, every factor has to be, you know, included into that, especially, you know, the product that you get from the legal industry. Can you explain the Azuka Time infusion?
Yeah, Azuka. So, okay. Azuka is an amazing company. They are an ingredient supplier. So people that go into a store to just simply buy a ButAcake brownie or a cookie, to you guys, Azuka doesn't mean anything. But for us, the people that are making it, Azuka is something that we add to our brownies so that when you eat it, it hits in 20 minutes or less, and it feels like you smoked a joint, as opposed to the traditional way that it takes 2 hours and then you can't get up and you're like, deep in the ether. So Azuka really just allowed for, modern society and being able to function, to combine with, ButAcake treats and deliciousness.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to make a pivot to now a big accomplishment.
Wait, I had
eyes.
a question about the Azuka.
Okay.
Is that like the nano emulsion or
Yes.
okay?
Yes. So
Okay.
Azuka is nano emulsified technology.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I don't like to say technology because we're
I
talking
know
about food.
it sounds so weird. The first time I heard that, I'm like, what?
Yeah, I
There's
don't think
robots in here?
technology-
What's going on?
So basically what they do is they take the plant. Well, they don't. They take the distillate that somebody else extracts, another manufacturer extracts, and they add it to a special sauce, and it gets like super mixed in this machine, like ultra homogenized. I'm gonna try so hard not to use technical terms so that everybody understands what I'm saying. But it goes into this thing and it spins to the point where you literally cannot tell the difference between the juice and the distillate, or whatever the case may be as we get further along. But for now, we'll use distillate. And that then, when I put it into the brownie, the way that I put it into the brownie, all of those ingredients carry this now super tiny, nano emulsified juice particle that has the weed in it. And when we eat it, it attaches to our bodies in a way that just allows for everything to happen faster.
Yeah, that's cool. And I haven't seen many other people in New Jersey doing the nano, or the Azuka time infusion.
Oh,
right?
Have you ever heard of Wana? Not that I would ever plug what do they make? A gummy?
Yes.
Yeah. So honestly, the reason why I feel like most people don't hear about companies like Azuka is because, generally speaking, in these industries and industries in general, the finished good, the product that we go buy on the shelf, is the focus, and not necessarily the partners that helped you get there.
Right.
But because I truly believe in collaboration and I believe in partnerships, I found it necessary to let people know, like, you guys, this is why this product is also incredibly good. You should look up Azuka. You should try to want to understand what it is that they're doing. And so for me, I'm really proud to put their logo on my bag because they also are doing incredible work.
No, yeah, it's definitely important, and that's one of our things is keeping everyone informed. So we pride ourselves at Casa Verde that we want you to have all the information so you can make a good decision, not just like, oh yeah, get this because I said
on
so.
sale.
Yeah, because it's like we try to give you all the facts and then you can make a decision on your own. We're all adults here, right?
Exactly.
So
I will say proudly though, still to this day, we are the only fast-acting edible baked good in the New Jersey market.
And let me tell you, those things slap because I eat one of those, I'm out. I'm like, yo, I can't even. I got to clear my day, like almost. I'm like, yo. And the first time, because it's 10 milligrams, right? We're all stoners. We're like, give me 200, but yo, those 10 milligrams, that's all you need because you're on the moon. I made
partners at Azuka.
I made this one meme, and it was a guy flying in the universe. It's like, oh, me after not knowing how strong that edible was, and that's how I feel when I eat a brownie. And it's so good too. You just want to eat it all.
It's really good.
I love how it's different for everybody because sometimes I'll eat an oatmeal raisin cookie and I'll go on my bike and I'll ride 10, 15 miles and I'll be perfectly fine. Sometimes I'll eat a brownie and I'll do an hour of hot power yoga and be perfectly fine. Sometimes I'll eat a chocolate chunk cookie and I'll write 29 pages of regulatory text for the state of New Jersey so that we can, have a better industry.
You got a tolerance, though. You be in the kitchen baking, so when I eat an edible, I'm like, yo, I'm slapped. I'm like, I need one that wake me up, or it's just it's the whole tolerance thing too. It's like
it's a different way your body is taking it.
Yeah, and the oatmeal, I love the oatmeal cookie too.
Me too.
It's banging. I love it. That and the BB and Jet are the best. and it also depends what you're doing, you're doing more exercise type stuff, when I'm like, it's at the end of the day, it's my dessert. I'm chilling on the couch. I'm just melted into the couch.
With some ice cream.
Oh yeah, banging.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good, the fast acting for patients too, that, that seek that immediate relief. It's
Yeah.
a game changer.
I will say though, guys, I'm not a doctor. And again, I didn't even go to college, so I'm not making any sort of medical claims. Please don't sue me. I'm not promising, but I will say based off the feedback that we've been able to collect over the last, 10 years now in business, the product does work.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. How do you go through your experimentals, and how do you know when to drop it? What are those time periods where you say, all right?
So usually what happens is I'll come up with an idea, I'll bake it 1 or 2 times just to like fine tune it and figure out what it is exactly I'm trying to do. And then after that, I get my best friend Yaz in the kitchen. She's the other half of ButAcake. We bake everything together. And I'll tell her like, okay, taste this, try this. And when she's done going through her refinement, the two of us together will like invite a few random people over. Like they don't even have to be actual supporters of ButAcake or baked goods or anything. Like I just scroll through my phone and be like, hey, what are you doing on Tuesday? Can you come over? Okay, cool. They come over, try this, rate it, tell us what you think. And then if it actually does get good enough, we'll do a couple of small runs where we'll sell it to the underground consumers and get their feedback. And then after that, off to the market.
That's cool. It's like intriguing to me, when you go behind that process, and I'm an overthinker, so sometimes I'm like, oh man, is it time? Is it ready yet? Should I? You know what I mean? So being able to have a good support system to be able to help you be able to pull the trigger for these type of things is essential. So all this work has come, all this work that you put in, writing pages to the regulatory, going to Delaware and, trying new products, trying to change the game with the Zuka timing and everything. And you finally get like this like, I want to say recognition, well-deserved recognition. And you were featured in this documentary, Kiss My Grass. How did you get involved in that? How did that opportunity come about?
Again, right place, right time. So me just being somebody that's curious by nature and always wanting to learn, I went online and I started looking for like online courses and like ways to not have to spend $50,000 on a degree for cannabis. Because at that time, again, it wasn't legal. So I was like, what are these people doing? It didn't make sense to me. And I landed on this company or this program called Our Dream Academy. And they're an accelerator program, and they focus on helping people get from, idea to tangible to actual market and operating. And so with them, because, I learned a lot and things were going well, they gave me the opportunity to showcase my brand at a conference called MJ Unpacked. And this is all still before I even had a single legal product in the market, but I had I had it built out enough that people understood what was going on. And so I got to MJ Unpacked. This is also when I meet Azuka. They pick me up. The partnership there forms, and I become immersed in the MJ Unpacked universe. I become an ambassador for them and everything. I get to my second MJ Unpacked, and I meet a woman named Mary Pryor, and she tells me that she's working on a project, and she wants to just ask me a couple of questions on camera. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And so she goes, tell me what it's like to raise money. And I was like, oh, you really want to know? And remember, I had no idea what this was going to be for. So I just thought, this black lady's asking me what it's about, what it's like raising money. I'm going to tell her all my truth. And I did. And I was like, VCs don't talk to me. White dudes are out here raising every single penny. There's nothing left. I don't know what to do, but I'm just going to, keep on pulling my bootstraps, and I'm going to make this work some way, somehow. It's got to happen. And I started sharing my story. I didn't hear anything back for like years. I had forgotten about it, honestly. And then one day I get a call from a lady named Saki, who's a producer. And she says, hi, Matha, your bit was so well received. I'm happy to tell you that we're filming a documentary called Kiss My Grass. It's been picked up by Tribeca Film Festival. We would like to come film an update of your story. Let us know if you have availability. And I was like, what? Yeah, I had no idea. Still to this moment, I am in shock. I did not realize that by being so honest and vulnerable about sharing how hard this honestly was. Like, people think that I came from money. I'm first generation Haitian American. My bank account generally is negative. Like, I'm not rich. There's no trust fund situation here.
Yeah.
And so I really, truly was able to get this business up and running because my community believed in me. My friend from the 3rd grade tried my baked good and believed in me. This girl that I met when I was running a yoga studio became my friend. She came over to my house and saw that there was like flour basically leaking out of the ceilings, that I needed help, and she believed in it. All of my customers that ever bought a ButAcake anything, whether it had weed in it or not before I went legal, they all believed in it. And so I built this community literally on Instagram. And by the time I had like, I think 7,000 followers, I put in the DMs, you guys, I'm really getting serious about this. I want to go legal. I need to raise $50,000. And I got a phone call from this woman, Afro-Latina. I love you so much. She had been supporting the brand and buying my products. And she was like, I'm going to hand you $50,000. I'm not going to add any terms or conditions to it. I don't want you to feel like you need to pay it back to me tomorrow. Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's emotional.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, no, for real, because having somebody to believe in you in that way could be refreshing. You know what I mean? And it's especially like you said, your bank account was negatives and all that.
Okay, yeah.
So that any and this goes and I feel like in any situation, any little bit of hope that anybody gets in those situations ignite a huge fire for a big comeback.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a positive but vengeful. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's exactly that.
But it's powerful.
that.
But it's positive. It's a positive vengeance. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm gonna show you guys, but I'm gonna show you guys.
Yeah.
All this hard work wasn't for nothing. And so like I can understand that 100%. And those
especially
people
New Jersey
deserve.
was
Yeah.
like late to the game too. So it was very intimidating and terrifying because people that started in California and Colorado and Washington and stuff, right? Those were the people I was flying across the country to go to be like, hey guys, you started your business 10, 15 years ago. You should have some money to invest in us on the East Coast. And all of them are saying, we're drowning, we're failing, we're dying. That made me feel like, what am I doing with my life? I felt like I didn't have a backup plan or anything. And mind you, in the underground, I built ButAcake to support 10 people. It's not like we switched over to go legal and all of a sudden I didn't have responsibilities. I
Right.
still had 10 people who had to pay rent, who had families to feed, who had things going on. And so it just really was, I don't know. It was the lift was really, really, really heavy. And I'm thankful that somebody like Mary Pryor and somebody like Saki and somebody like Hillary Yu and the Academy and Azuka and MJ and Pac, that they were able to just literally just see me in
Yeah.
a space where people like me are freaking invisible. We can't raise $50,000 generally.
Yeah,
And I'm
especially
lucky
being a
enough to have
minority
done
too.
that. Yeah.
Being a minority adds a whole lot of extra steps and layers to all this.
Mhm. You know, it takes $2 million to start a cannabis company legally in New Jersey. $2 million freaking dollars.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Liquid.
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 Okay.
It's crazy.
I'm beating odds. Like, I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to do. I'm a statistic, really. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing any of these things. And so I just feel like with what the universe has been able to give me, it's going to be coming back tenfold.
100%.
Shout out to Universe.
Yeah.
And shout out to all the first gens out there. Me and Chris are first gen here, right? I believe all the first gens are, we have that burning, that passion to, we want to make, our parents proud.
Yeah.
We want to do it for our family, and that's that's all we got.
Yep.
Yeah. It's especially, like we kind of have that direct, feeling with, the upbringing of, of our parents, at least for mine, at least, coming from poverty and, like, shit, what are we going to do? What are we going to eat? Like, not like, sometimes, let the kids eat before the parents ate and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of things that really go into all that. And like, the first gen, I think, that's what we try to do. We try to take care of the people that took care of us, essentially. And it's definitely, we definitely got that flame inside of us.
For sure.
At all times.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I'm Haitian. Okay. So we are the first independent Black country on the planet.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
so much deep rooted inside me that honestly I don't understand it because I wasn't there back then,
Yeah.
but I know it's flowing through my veins.
You got that fighter bloodline, you know,
Yeah.
they did definitely beat all odds in France, you know, took all their rights right back from France and all that. It's big. You guys had recently had like, what is it, Haitian Flag Day, I believe, recently?
May 18th.
Yeah. Shout out, shout out.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, as a manufacturer, not just ButAcake, but as Canpowerment, I want to bring ethnicity to shelves. So I want to bring coquito. I want to bring pistache. I want to bring all
Coquito be
kinds of
fire.
cool things.
Yeah.
You know, the things that people can really relate to. Not everybody wants to eat a gummy.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
enough
that's
of the
for
gummies.
sure. Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely, you know, there's in today and age, there's so many other things, you know, out there that can be done. So how was it? How was it at the Tribeca stage, you know, or the auditorium or the theater? How was it? What was the, like, you know, the feeling inside that, you know, you were seeing yourself at this big stage, you know, that,
On the
like,
big screen.
on the big screen? How did it, you know, how
On the red
Well,
carpet. I saw the
yeah,
post.
Yeah, the red carpet was crazy.
Yeah.
what was that feeling? You know,
So
like I mean,
surreal.
like being open up the door and then there's the red carpet.
Yeah, it was really surreal. Honestly, looking back at it, it was an out of body experience. It was a 3-day venture. And so on the first day, I was just overwhelmed. I don't think I really soaked it all in, but there were lots of moments that were just really, really cool. Being at the red carpet for the first time before we even get to see the movie, and the photographers are hyping us up and telling us how great we look and everything, and the pictures came out amazing, and having those moments to bond with the rest of the cast and the people that help put it together, that was really fun. And then having obviously my co-founders and my best friend and the squad there, that was awesome. And then the second day was what it really hit, because that was the time I got to take my parents to see it. And so it was just me, my mom, and my dad, and I lost it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did too.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the most impactful part for me, because when I talk to my parents about this, I don't really get to tell them like the nitty gritty. And so for me to be able to, excuse me, for me to be able to express like the hardship that I was going through and have it produced so beautifully and have it shown amongst peers and other women that also look like me, and for my parents to see that and understand like, oh, she's not by herself and she's not doing anything wrong, or I don't need to worry as much, like that, it gave me so much relief.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I ever.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
No,
You know,
it's a
part
real
of it.
emotional thing. You know, I'm feeling it. You know, like it's
Yeah.
it's similar to, like, you know, my mom's like one of my biggest supporters. You know, I come from, I used to get arrested all the time growing up for cannabis, and then like when I was like, Mom, I'm fighting for this to be legal because this is what I believe in.
Yeah.
And she took her time, she understood it, and she believed in me, and you know, that's all I needed, and that really drives you even more. So you know, we can totally relate, you know.
Yeah.
100%. You know, and this is the side that not a lot of people get to see. You know, the emotional part that you put into. You know, you put your everything into it. You know, and you. Probably before and probably still now, you probably like, damn, am I really gonna get back what, you know, like everything I put in it? Like, you know, like it, you know, is it worth it? You know, sometimes when you ask yourself that question, it's just like it like really messes you up. But you know, being able to tell it now, and you know, being able to share these experiences, you know, with your parents and the people that you love and that have been there, you know, like, people need to see this and understand, like, this is big. You know, people put their lives on the line. You know, one bad move, you know, and then you're set, and you know, you could be bankrupt or other situations. I
mean, honestly, in cannabis, we can't even be bankrupt because we don't get those kind of protections on the federal. So when I tell you, like, I'm crying because I felt relief, because this is that heavy. I am not a millionaire, but some way, somehow, if my business does not succeed, I owe millions of dollars to all kinds of different things. And so having the opportunity to just share what the financial burden of this journey did to me and to the people around me, and to have my parents see it in that way, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
more convinced more than ever that there's nothing else for me to do with my life besides this.
No, 100%. You know, it's fruits of your labor. You know, and you know, thinking about it, you're like, yeah, I really didn't get to soak it in, but you know, those raw feelings, you know, that you know, sometimes we may ignore those feelings at the moment, but afterwards is when you really like allow yourself to indulge in all those things.
For sure. Yes, this is hard work. I
It
started
is.
this in 2021 trying to go legal. We're sitting here in 2025 and I still have not raised $1 million. We have peers in the space that have raised $5, $7, $20, $30 million in the state of New Jersey, legal licensed operators with not nearly as much experience as me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's something that people need to take, you know, learn from this, you know, learn from it and take those experiences and, you know, see how it is. It's not as easy as everybody seems. Oh, you know, when you talk to somebody, oh, just get your license, go legal. You know what I mean? Like, I hear that all the time.
I love how that's so like laughable. Just like,
yeah, no, it's laughable, but it's true. Like that's what literally people tell me is like, yo, dude, just get your license. Like,
it's kind of like, you know, the whole immigration thing. Like, go get legal. Go do it. Do it
sign up.
Do it the right way. Like, okay, what is the right way? Please inform me. So I'm doing something wrong, apparently.
Yeah. But what's one big thing that, you know, people that get to see your film, what's a big takeaway that you want them to, you know, to take in from the film?
The biggest takeaway I want them to take in is that it's not about race. It's not about gender. It's not about what your sexual orientation is. It's not about any of those things, frankly. I want people to make better decisions about what they buy and when they buy it and why they're buying it. After you watch this documentary, that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about when you go into a dispensary and you look up, you know, whatever you're about to look up, look at the license number. See what kind of company you're getting ready to support. Especially in cannabis, it matters. From an operational standpoint, there's this ultra mega company called Uline. And we tend to go there to buy things like gloves and zipper bags, garbage cans, garbage bags, stuff like that. Uline spends millions, if not billions of dollars on lobbying against the cannabis industry. That's what they do. So people need to understand that, like, when you are walking into a dispensary, you're walking into Casa Verde and you want to buy some big corporate entity's flower, guess what? They're not making decisions to not buy from Uline like a small company like me.
Yeah.
They're making decisions to support the very people that want to harm our industry. So think about the products you buy. Think about the companies that you're supporting with every dollar that you spend with them. That's what I want people to think about when they're done watching the documentary.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. You know, the more and more people, you know, now as it gets, you know, it gets bigger, you know, more companies want to, you know, just the crazy part is they're taking our money, the people's money, to lobby against us, but still profiting and making money off of us. And that's a great point. You know, check it out where you get in, not only in the cannabis industry, in any industry, you know, to just look at what these companies are investing in and all that. Even banks. I saw some crazy stuff, you know.
I'm pretty sure if you buy Tylenol, you're buying something that's against our industry.
Yeah, 100%.
Pharma, they lobby against canna.
Yeah, all the time, and you see it everywhere, all across the country, really. You were at Casa Verde last time, and I wanted to ask you, you know, what was your impressions? What feeling brought in when you walked into Casa Verde?
Oh, I love Casa Verde. It's so cute. It's like if you were walking into, how do I explain this? You're like on a little Caribbean island. Maybe you're in Colombia, or you might even be in Brazil. And you walk in and it's like a triangle and the walls are so pretty and there's greenery and it's lush. And even though there's not a breeze inside the dispensary, if you close your eyes, you would think that there was a breeze. It's very honestly, it's giving Casa. I want to vacation there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. It definitely is. You know, the greenery inside that touch is I think it what makes it feel, you know what I mean? Like gets that
Like,
feeling
I want to
going.
be in there on a hammock.
Yeah. Definitely bring a hammock next time.
I'm about to tell him we need a hammock.
We
Yeah, you
need
need
a
a hammock in there. That's funny. How do you feel walking into, into these dispensaries like Casa Verde and be able to see your product, finally on the shelves?
Oh, man. So Casa Verde was very emotional for me because it's literally the first dispensary that carried my product closest to home. Again, I'm from Morristown. Morristown just got their first dispensary and they still don't have me on their shelf, which to me like boggles my mind. So everybody from home that supports my business, they go to Casa because that's where it's at.
Yeah.
And so it's those little things that really, really matter for the community. I know people in South Jersey have no idea that I existed in Morristown for forever. So of course they're going to go anywhere. But places like Casa matter because when they know that they're supporting the girl they went to high school with, they went to grade school with, now they're telling their friends like, oh, you're coming for Thanksgiving? Make sure you stop by Casa after the airport before you get to the house kind of a situation. And so those things matter because, again, it's all about the community and like what we have together.
Yeah, and Casa Verde is in Dover, which is an impact zone as well. So, in all angles, it's something positive for the community, especially being an impact zone.
Yeah.
The war on drugs was big, as the Mr. Producer over there said, he was arrested several times, and I can attest to that. We went to school together. We went, middle school all the way up to high school, and then he was always in trouble with the law.
Right outside the train station in Dover, so they could snatch us up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. Even they used to catch people coming from New York, getting some goods.
Had them pop out the bushes on me.
Yeah, pop out the bushes.
Well, and it's because in Dover we don't have buses, so everyone has to walk home. So here I am walking home from school on the train tracks, and then two detectives pop out the bushes, and I was just saying hi to my friend, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" and start frisking us and everything, and we didn't have anything that time, but one time we were just done smoke, and we do a burn up cleanup in town, and that's our way to break stigmas, and we smoke weed and clean up garbage in Dover. We give out joints.
It's awesome.
So like and we go back to the places where we used to go and hang out and smoke.
Yeah.
So like where we go and clean up, like we literally had like detectives pull up on us and interrogate us
all the
on
time.
Where'd you get this, and what do you and
But honestly, it's so important for the kids now to see it, right? Like when I was in high school, if I saw somebody like me doing what I'm doing, it probably would have made a difference in my life. And so I feel like it's so important for all of us to be outside in our communities doing these things in ways that don't intimidate the kids, because you never know. One day somebody could walk up to you during a Casa cleanup and some young man who doesn't know what he wants to do with his life is probably thinking about selling some drugs. Next thing you know, he wants to go legal because he's been around us and now he has a different, aspect, or she or whoever it may be. So I think us just being boots on the ground, it matters.
Definitely.
It really does. And it starts, at that grassroots level, literally being out there and interacting. And the great part about the Burn Up Cleanup is that we had to communicate with our town officials. We have like 20 bags of trash. Like, he can't take it home anymore. His wife is getting mad at him. Raccoons are coming. And
well, it was the first couple of times I think we did like one or two times, and it was manageable. I just put the garbage in my garbage, whatever. But then like the one time, it was like maybe the third time we did it, I guess it was a big one, and like I literally scraped like a squirrel off the sidewalk. It was just like flattened on the side. It was crazy. And then I'm like, all right, I can't bring this. My wife's gonna bug out. Yeah. So then I call my
I'm not
my
your
councilman.
Wife, and this is a story, and I'm bugging out.
Yeah. Like I called the councilman. I'm like, yo, and they knew what we were doing already, right? So I'm like, yo, we're just gotten done with the cleanup, and like we have a lot of garbage. Can like DPW, how can they pick it up? And they helped us, and then from that day, I always coordinate with the town, and now the town. In the beginning, I had to go buy my own pickers and garbage bags and everything. But now the town gives us the pickers, the garbage bags, and they drop it off at my house.
Way to go.
Shout out to Dover DPW, because those guys really, really help us. And they drop everything. I'm like,
as they should, because they're collecting the 2%. It's a beautiful thing to see that they're actually allocating the resources to help you, to help the town, because we have a CEF tax in New Jersey, and I can't tell you where any of that money is going.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, the CEF tax is the social equity exercise fee. Excise, not exercise. Excise.
They need to exercise it though.
So yeah. So that's our dollars at work again.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's great, that right there built this relationship with the town council and the town officials, and we had that boots on the ground, breaking the stigma down in the street, because we had people pull up. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, you guys selling weed? It's like, no, we're not selling weed. We're giving it away. We just want you to come help us, keep our town clean. And at the same time,
allegedly free.
Allegedly. So, it's always like, it's like, it's refreshing to see, getting that backed up, and also being able to, let our neighbors know that we're not criminals, we're not dirty, we're not lazy. We're just like anybody else. We care for our community. We want to keep it clean.
I feel like cannabis consumers are like cleaner than everybody else. I think we're actually
100%.
smarter than anybody else.
100%.
I see people smoking cigarettes and they're like, they like throw that shit in the street. I see people smoking joints and they're like, oh, let me put it out and find a garbage can.
Yeah.
No, all the garbage that we pick up, it's all beer bottles. Like 99%. Like, oh, here's a blunt wrap thing. Like, once in a while, like, I'll be like, oh, I finally found some weed trash. Like, finally, because the amount is just bags on beer, like, and like food. Like, people just get food, take out, and just throw it. And it's like we clean by the river, and shit gets stuck in the river. But yeah, when we first did it, it was awesome seeing the people who came out and that were curious, because it's like not who you would think traditionally would come out.
Soccer coaches,
like I had a megaphone and I was yelling into the megaphone, we're the cannabis community, we're cleaning up, this is the cleanup, free joints allegedly, and come meet us, because at that time the law had just changed and now it's legal. Now we can have 6 ounces on us and we can gift up to an ounce to someone, so that's why we were doing it. So it was like, the laws are changed now. And the people that came out, it was like, grandmas came out asking me about cannabis, and I was like, and we educated them, and they're like, because they wanted to know where they wanted more information, because there's a lot of people that didn't have access. We're in the streets, right?
Also, there's so many people, they feel intimidated. They won't even walk into a dispensary.
Yeah, they're scared before it's legal. There's so many people that haven't
walk out and get popped.
Yeah.
So just like this one guy came up and I was like, oh, we're giving out weed. You want some? And then the guy's like, I was like, do you smoke weed? And it was an older guy, and he's like, read my hat, and it said Vietnam veteran. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, here you go. And like, so it was awesome just seeing the people that came out and that were curious about it. And I'm happy our town, like the people in the community in our town supported us doing it, which was like the best part for me. Because like sometimes putting the cleanup, that's like my anxiety kicking in. I'm like, what if no one comes? What if me and Chris are the only ones cleaning?
At least it's getting clean.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, hey, if whoever comes, we're going to be out there and we're going to do something. So, but thankfully our community supported us and they still do. So.
Yeah, and we gained, supporters, and Chris used to call it the closet smokers that just smoke. You know what I mean? Like, and it's true. They all saw us, and it's just like a breath of fresh air for them.
Speaking of gaining supporters, congratulations!
Oh, thank you.
I can't vote in Dover because I don't live there, but I would have voted for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Just trying to make some change, in my town, and in order to take, be change, you gotta take part. And I guess threw myself in the hat and
you got it,
and I got it, and so now
for you guys at home that don't know, Chris just won the Democratic primary. He's the Democratic nominee for councilman in Ward 3, which is my ward, so that's my councilman right there.
yeah, I'm excited, I'm just, overall, all this is, I'm happy that, I got the support from my community and my ward. I think that's, it's crazy because I never imagined it, it's just, even then I was like, man, the stigmas of cannabis is going to come and bite me. And it's going to come for me and get me. And no, I think it was, quite the opposite. And I just, I was just running a genuine campaign, like
honestly, I think it's important to have a voice in the industry on the council.
Yeah,
it's important.
Yeah.
And his lawn signs, we made them green.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, blue,
yeah.
blue and green, because
Blue and green.
Dems, but we smoke weed.
Dems
and,
for green.
and but like it was cool because it brings me back to like a comment that I saw on the on the Facebook Dover forum where everybody chit chats about the town. This one person congratulated you, and I didn't even know him, but she was like she was happy to learn more because she said she's a cannabis patient herself, so she she feels represented.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't feel represented by the current administration or whatever. So there's
It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, no, and then not only that, but like my people need representation. We need to speak up and we have a voice. So it's not. I don't want to say we don't have a voice. We have a voice. It's just getting it through the right channels and getting it out there.
Yeah.
And I just want to be a voice for the people and just do what I can for my people. I know Dover is a very Latino based community, so I can relate to a lot, and a lot of them are first gen, if not just got here, and so it needs a lot of support and all that, and being able to communicate and relate to them, a lot of them is I think is one of my key things. Somebody asked me, he's like, oh, well, what's your experience? I was like, well, I've been an activist for as long as I can. And I started doing my activism in the wheelchair. If there's if that doesn't tell you enough of my hunger and what teaching myself how to walk again and, and all this, like, if that doesn't tell you the type of person I am, then,
Shame on you.
sit down. And,
Yeah,
like,
shame on that person.
Like, I don't know what else to say, because I'm well driven and it's just, I'm very family oriented. So like, it's just, it's big, and even getting myself out there, I'm like, oh man, like, but
You're doing
yeah,
great.
no, I'm excited. I'm excited. I like to test myself, and I think this is going to be a big test for me. So yeah, hopefully I don't let my people down.
You won't. We have faith in you. We voted for you.
Yeah, that is also true. That is facts. So back on track. Do you have any new products coming out? Anything new? Anything to expect? Anything that you can want to reveal to us, or
Yeah, the ButAcake is absolutely what I'm looking forward to bringing to the market. But I will say, there are so many actual exciting things coming along in the pipeline, and as those things do happen, I will give you the breaking news.
Awesome.
You and Mike, the dispensary guy, you guys will get the breaking news first, and then we'll post.
Yeah, maybe we can break it together.
That would be fine.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know you have you talked about the ButAcake. Is there any other, like, snacks, snacks, drinks, or any of that, or is that also part of the whole big big reveal coming up?
I mean, I could say, obviously, as a manufacturer, we are going to play with all kinds of product formats. I'm looking forward to expanding my introduction to the world as not just ButAcake, but as Cannpowerment. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys what I could do with a vape, what I could do with a pre-roll, what I could do with topicals, like, I'm really excited to just continue to excel in being the queen of the finished good, baked goods and beyond.
Watch Matha cook.
Yeah, watch me cook.
That's awesome. I was here, when we're just, talking, and you're talking about, specific strains and stuff. I thought, how cool would it be if you had just, your specific strain that you use only in that brownie, and that's just like, it's that ButAcake strain. It's only used in the brownie, That's something cool. But like, I know that in New Jersey, like, especially when the adult use first rolled out, there was a lot of restrictions on edibles. And can you tell us? I know you're a big fighter for that, because they didn't want us to have cookies.
No, they did
They
not.
didn't want us. They said it was for kids.
Literally.
So like, how can give us any insight on, like, your battles with the CRC, I guess, with that?
So, like I said, in 2021, when Cannpowerment wanted to go legal, we were like, what are we going to do? And I was like, duh, we're doing baked goods. So we start reading the regulations. And at that time, the regulations was like, oh, you can only do soft lozenges and tinctures. And that was basically it. There was no other way to consume through the mouth. So the first thing that I noticed was, why do they have to call it a soft lozenge as opposed to a gummy? Because that's literally what it is. So I thought that was dumb. And then I was like, well, I really want a brownie in the market. What exactly can or should I do? And so by going to a bunch of conferences and just being around the right people at the right time, I started to pick up on the fact that, like, people that are regulators and no offense, I swear I don't mean any offense to this, but people that are regulators are literally just regular people. Like, they're lawyers, they're not experts in manufacturing of baked goods or anything like that. So I started to understand, like, oh, the people that wrote the regulations didn't even consider the fact that I exist. So now I need to write my own regulations, and hopefully I can send it to them and they'll be cool with it. And I got really lucky that I got invited to a New Jersey Cannabis Business Association event, and the NJCBA essentially became a voice for me. So I turned into a ghostwriter. I started writing regulations for brownies. I started realizing where our current at the time, where the current CRC regulators just hadn't filled the void of the edible market. And so when I put the pen to paper, NJCBA delivered it to the CRC, and the CRC received it so well that I was able to open up baked goods for the market.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how I say they because in reality I don't even know who comes up with all this, but how they wanted legacy, they wanted all this, but they forgot the main ingredient to all that, which is the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you, where, like, and it's in every, stoner movie, the space brownie, the bud brownie, it's everywhere. It's integrated in the culture. Absolutely. It's almost like having a joint or a blunt. It's like, it's
absolutely,
it's like.
And the other thing that bothered me too is, like, they built a lot of these regulations, especially on the manufacturing side, to like regulate machinery made goods. You know what I mean? They don't account for the fact that, like, when you're making something by hand as a human, the margin of error needs to be a little bit bigger than 0.5. So I don't think most people understand that I'm putting 10 milligram brownies into a market where my room of error is 9.5 or 10.5 milligrams. And we make all of these baked goods by hand, deposit by hand, cut by hand, weigh by hand. So I literally, me and my team have to be perfect every single time. The regulators didn't think about that when they were writing the freaking rules.
Yeah.
It makes our jobs so hard. Those kinds of regulations, should a legacy operator actually make it to legal like I did, that's the kind of shit that could take us out.
Yeah.
Because if I fail on a couple of batches, and if those batches are worth 50,000, 100,000, I'm screwed.
Oh, yeah.
As a small player.
That's something I didn't know. That's, when you put it like that, the margin of error and how precise you have to be in what you're doing. That's a lot.
That's the thing. They want to
start to understand why there's so many gummies in the market, right?
Yeah.
It's made by a machine.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing too. It's not a corporate. It's something that you can't just corporatize us. You know what I mean? It takes time, and like, you can do it, but then if that's the way the industry is going to go, I don't see it happening any different than what they did to tobacco.
Yeah. I mean, our industry is absolutely going to go there. There's certain products that have dropped in the market as of late. Okay. The news is out. It's here. There are other baked goods in the market. ButAcake is not the only one anymore. But I'm going to tell you right now, based off of what I've seen just from a product photo on a dispensary listing, I haven't even touched the product myself. I'm not that worried. The craftsmanship isn't there. Machines just don't do what hands and heart and soul can do.
Just goes back to the love.
Yeah,
literally. Goes back to the love. And I feel like that's another, another back to the point that we spoke on earlier, was check your labels. See where your shit's coming from. Where are you getting it from? Who's growing the things that that are getting put into all these things?
Yeah.
It's very important, especially now recently with the things that have been product coming in bad or whatever the case may be. Is definitely something you definitely want to keep an eye out as a consumer.
Absolutely.
You definitely want to take care.
And I make myself ridiculously accessible to the consumers. I don't hire people to run our Instagram or our social media accounts. I do that myself. The phone number that's on the ButAcake website and on the Campowerment website, that's my cell phone number. If you text that number, I'm answering you because I want people to really know, the answers that they're looking for.
Yeah. Straight, no automated voicemails, no automated nothing.
No, none of that.
None. Keeping it, and that's the whole thing about staying genuine and true. It's like, the transparency is what opens up, a lot of doors for a lot of people. They when they see, oh, transparency, I like this. It gives some sort of comfort.
Yeah.
One thing that that you probably could tell us a little bit more about that you have coming up is the content house 2.0.
2.0.
That's something that we can drop, and definitely it's well deserved air horn on that one. Yeah, it's tell us about what's the content house. How did you come about this idea?
So last year, again, I was just consuming. Maybe I had a couple of brownies. I don't remember the exact aha moment, but in our team group chat, I said, you guys, I'm not impressed by my peers in the space. Like, I'm looking at all these companies come around in the legal industry. And remember, I started ButAcake before there were like brands in New Jersey as far as the legal industry was concerned. So like by the time the big MSOs came with their grassroots and whatever the hell brands they had, all of those Instagram accounts didn't have much of anything to them, right? Like the engagement wasn't there. It looked really corporate. It looked like they were trying to replicate like the same kind of ads that Macy's was putting out. And it just wasn't connecting to me. And I felt like I wanted to do something in the cannabis industry that nobody else was doing. And I just wanted to generate more real content because that's what I was doing, but they weren't doing it. And I just didn't understand. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to rent a house and I'm going to invite all my friends to come over and we're just going to create tons and tons and tons and tons of content. And we're going to put it out into the world and see how consumers feel about it. And it was amazing because we reached over 1 million consumers. We put out over 250 actual finished produced pieces of content that I'm still sitting on. And it was amazing. We were able to bring together not just the cannabis community, but we had like high profile DJs that came through that had millions of followers. We had artists that came through. We had just like lots and lots of different kinds of people from all different kinds of sectors came and they were able to be there. We invited dispensary owners to come and they were able to collaborate and connect with brands. And now there's product on shelves that exists because the content house happened last year. And so we're looking to do it again this year, bigger, better. We're looking for more models. We're looking for more people to be a part of the curated shoots where people get to consume the products and really engage with them in a way that will translate as real when we turn around and we're scrolling on Instagram or we're, looking at different channels in which we can actually finally advertise our products.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like it's something that all these brands need, they need that, a face to it.
Mm-hmm.
They need it,
Yeah.
It's not just another corporate page, not just like, what is it, Bayers or,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just, scrolling through that website. It's like,
Exactly.
all right, it gives you more like, everything. I gotta say, everything so far is so genuine with you. And I appreciate that, because like I am the same way too. I like to be genuine and like to be real about these anything really, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just, why do I have to bite my tongue? It's so I appreciate that. And I appreciate, how, knowing your story more is how you pay all this forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing that, everything you've been through and you're still finding ways to, pay it forward to somebody, pay it to the next person, give them opportunities. And now you became that person that, giving people opportunity. And that's big. That's great. That's growth. That's what the community needs.
Yeah. And I also feel like I have to say this. In our industry, we think about MSO, multi-state operators, like it's some big bad word and like these guys are the bad guys. But listen, at the end of the day, shout out to Columbia Care, shout out to Cannabis, because if they didn't at that time make a decision to give back to somebody like me, I wouldn't be able to give back to anybody else that's like me. So, them making a decision to help one was all it took now for one to be able to help all. And I think that is something more people need to be aware and understanding of. Yes, we understand big business versus little business, David versus Goliath. Okay, fine. But at least in my story, David and Goliath got to sit down and eat a brownie together. And so I think, again, it's just huge for the industry. And I'm excited to be able to give that opportunity to more and more people like me.
No, for sure, and it's big, and it speaks volumes about who you are as a person as well. So what's different this time around that you're doing the content house? What are your plans? That could you say?
Yeah, of course. So this year it's a little bit different because we are doing it in conjunction with the Shore House Canna Fall Fest. Last year they had a fall festival and it was amazing. It was so much fun. And at the end of it, we all needed a place to gather and just hang out. And so this year I felt like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if our place to gather and hang out was the content house where we could also shoot content? And so I called Shore House and I said, I hope you guys don't think I'm trying to steal your weekend, but I would love to be able to add to what you're doing by providing the content house and getting the rest of the industry to come down to Cape May. As far as New Jersey is concerned, Cape May feels like it's so far, but it is such a gem. It is a beautiful place. It is a relaxing place. It is a place where, frankly, I could eat 50,000 brownies on the beach and be unbothered. And so I really just wanted to be able to share what I feel is special about Cape May with our industry and the adjoining industries that can also participate in the content house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hooking us up with her own spots.
For real. It's going to be cool. We're bringing back hibachi again.
Ooh,
so there will be
okay.
live hibachi. We'll obviously have space for one VIP brand to have 2 of their brand ambassadors to sleep in the content house with us. So that'll be really fun and exciting. We're going to do live podcast recordings and interviews. So people that have brands and companies or people in the industry that just want to share their story, or if you're a consumer and you just happen to be at the festival and you want to share what you experienced by using somebody's product, we invite you to come over and just, literally share. That's what this is all about. We're in an amazing time where we can't do this again and again and again. Cannabis in New Jersey specifically will only be so new for so long. And I want to capture as much of it as we can while we can.
Yeah, it's history in the making.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I feel like I took a lot of your time, and I want to. I want to close it up. I want to ask you a couple rapid fire questions, completely off topic to everything, so don't get thrown off.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Ask her the question we all want to know.
All right.
Do I have a boyfriend? No, but I'm looking.
Oh.
Shockingly, people do ask me a lot if I'm straight.
Really?
I don't know if there's like an uptick of queer Black women in cannabis or something, but
what
it's because you're so strong. You just, what I'm saying. You stand on business.
I do. But I am a heterosexual woman. I absolutely am an ally and a supporter. I wave the rainbow flag all day long. But yeah. Single, looking, that people ask me that all the time. Not if I'm single and looking, but they ask me like, what am I into?
So is it speaking of, since we're on this topic, how is that? Like, how is do you have time for like your dating life and stuff like that? Like, how does, your business and always being on top of all these things?
They gotta be able to make some brownies with you.
Okay.
You better get in this kitchen, boy.
I will say, because my name is so unique, like on the apps and stuff, I won't put my name on there because the second you Google my name, you're gonna know who the hell I am. And I try to like not date with my business first. Same thing in the industry, at the events and stuff like that, I shut it down. Like I'm not dating anybody that works in the industry. I just think it's a little messy. But yeah.
Makes sense. You got it? All right.
Do you pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let's go. I love pineapples.
Me too.
I'm Colombian, I guess.
Especially
We
if
put
it's
pineapples
grilled.
in. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We put pineapples on anything. I don't even care at this point. You just bakes it better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 1 cheese on a burger or 2?
I don't eat cheese.
There you go. No
There you go, no
cheese.
cheese.
That's a good answer. We haven't had that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of sauce, lots of
A
veggies on
joint
burger.
or a blunt?
Joint.
Joint.
Are you more like indica, sativa?
Indica.
Indica, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what's like one of your all-time strains?
I'm not loyal.
Okay. but you like a more gassy profile, or do you like the more like purple?
So because I am who I am, I'm really annoying. And so when I do decide to consume, I'm like looking at it, I'm smelling it, and I'm trying to just understand it for who it is before I consume it and make a decision. And so therefore, every single time I smoke, it's like I'm having a brand new experience. So I literally don't have like this one strain or this one flavor profile that I like when it comes to smoking the weed, because it's all different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate it all.
Yeah.
I say the same thing. It's like I like weed. I like it all.
Same.
So,
I just don't like when it's like improperly cured
Well,
or it's
Yeah.
moldy. That's when
Yeah,
I'm
we don't-
I got
we
a
don't want-
problem.
That's when the problem comes in. That's for sure. What's your favorite stoner movie?
oh yeah.
I sleep on every movie because I am the stoner.
It's like the guy on the couch.
Yeah.
That's funny. So what do you do when you're not working, when you're not, when you get some you time?
Mhm.
Like earlier you said, it's like, wow, I got this weekend off. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself. So what are you going to do this weekend?
I'm going to hang out with my mom and my dad.
Yes.
I every chance I get, I try to spend time with my family. I don't know, maybe go on a Tinder date or two. What else? I don't know. Generally speaking, I'm really organized and I account for all of my time. So I don't have free time that's not already accounted for because I love to travel. So when I do have me time, I'm taking 3 or 4, maybe 5 days off and I'm going somewhere and I'm turning off my phone. I'm not working. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not looking at numbers, stuff like that.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable for the type of, always on the go.
I'm a really chill
I'm
girl.
trying to get like more organized in my life recently because I just have so many projects popping up. It's like,
Yeah.
so it's just like trying to like keep everything like organized and eliminate mistakes, and it's a lot because I'm not organized at all. I'm always
I
just
have
like on the
lots of
fly, and people ask me what I'm doing. I'm like, I have no clue until the day of. I'll figure it out, but that's something I'm working on more.
We'll get there.
Just organizing, and it's coming along.
I mean, you organized all this.
Yeah, it's a lot, and for me, I have I have ADHD, so if I'm doing like 3 things at once, it kind of works out better for me. I'm just just doing one thing. I like hopping from here to there. Just that's my workflow.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I think this was a great interview.
I have rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay,
Let's do it.
let's do it.
Kendrick or
First.
Drake?
Kendrick.
Oh, okay. Is there a central New Jersey or not?
Nah. North or south? North or south? No, there's no central. What is this?
That's crazy. Okay. Ooh, oatmeal raisin or oatmeal chocolate chip?
Ooh,
Raisin.
chocolate chip.
I like the oatmeal raisin.
Okay. Oatmeal chocolate chip? White chocolate chips or chocolate chips?
Ooh.
Ooh. I love white chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this protein bar I get sometimes with macadamia nut that has like the white chocolate. You know what I'm talking about? Cliff Bar? Yeah.
Yo, Cliff Bar, if you ever see this, please call me. I would love to infuse your products and
Yo.
put them on shelves.
And that's why it reminded me of it. It kind of reminds me of the oatmeal cookie. It's just like, it looks like, yo, that's a thing, ButAcake protein bar.
Literally.
'Cause I'm in the gym. I eat all of them.
We can make it happen.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely
You need
make
a
it
sativa,
happen.
though.
And that's exactly, that's something I haven't seen in any market, like a protein bar, infused.
You're gonna have to cut this
Like, I
out so she
haven't-
can work on it.
And
Facts.
I've been
Don't
into
give this to
I've been to a lot
competitors.
of like different states, and I've never seen a protein bar that's infused.
Yeah.
They probably have some in Michigan. Michigan is one of the most exciting markets I've seen.
I actually
as
seen
far
a
as
protein
edibles
ball.
go.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Michigan, it's like one of the most exciting edible markets I've ever
Michigan's
been
popping. I heard.
in. Yeah,
Definitely.
they got all kinds
Yeah.
of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what sucks. Like the regulations in Jersey just makes it so hard when we just trying to be great. We're just trying to make good
It's okay
stuff.
for now. But there's people out there like me that have no problem writing regulations. for the
Exactly.
things we want to see.
And,
Breaking down walls.
Yeah.
shout out to you, because if it wasn't for ButAcake, we wouldn't even be talking about brownies right now.
Literally.
So
Really.
you literally paved the way for everybody that wants to make an infused brownie in New Jersey. So that's amazing. That's,
Yeah,
you.
you
That-
can't
not
talk
many-
about you can't talk about a sweet edible or without mentioning your name.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's good stuff.
It's great. Well, Matha, thank you so much. Thank you for being real with us. That's number one, and keeping it genuine. Your story is everything, inspiring, powerful, and must say, hella Jersey. To our listeners, go follow ButAcake. Stop by Casa Verde. Try her PB&J. brownie, and keep an eye out for the Content House 2.0 this September. This is Casa Verde Connections, where cannabis, culture, and community collide. I'm Chris Almada. I'll see you on the next episode.
That was awesome.